This morning I was having some prayer time. I had my tea, I had my Bible, I was praying. It was great when I was rudely interrupted by my roommate. My roommate comes over to me, she's like, I'm so sorry, I know you're praying, say hi to God for me, but do you think you can pause that for a second? I want to show you part of a show that I'm watching right now on Netflix. And I was like, sorry, I don't really care, I'm praying. She's like, oh no, you're gonna want to see this. They talk about God. I was like, fair. So I go over to the living room where my roommate is watching a new TV show. She's watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is a new TV show. I haven't seen this TV show. I'm not recommending this at all. I just want to tell you about a clip that my friend showed for me. About 5 minutes into the episode, we see a scene from a private all-boys middle school. They're in the middle of religion class, where a priest or like someone who's wearing a collar, so like I think it's a priest, but like who knows with Hollywood, is leading them through a class where he discusses a miracle of Jesus. The story of Jesus exorcising a demon from someone. Jesus exorcises a demon from a person, and then the demons ask Jesus, don't send us away, send us instead into these pigs, into this herd of swine. So Jesus gives the demons permission, the demons leave the people, they go into the herd of swine, and then all the piggies run off a cliff and are drowned in the water below. And they're talking about this passage, and one of the main characters asks the teacher a question. He asks, did the demons need permission to enter the pigs? And the teacher says yes. Then the student asks another question. He says, did the demons need permission to enter into the man originally? And the priest says, yeah. Why is that? Evil needs permission to enter into the pigs and into the person. There's literally so many things that I could talk about. I could talk about this gospel passage. I could talk about this show, what I've seen of it. There's so many directions I could go, but I want to talk about evil. So, God exists, and God is love itself. He is joy, He is freedom, He's peace, He's light, justice, and mercy. God is all these things. Evil also exists. Evil isn't a little red man with like a pitchfork or other garden supplies that we see in like cartoons or on TV, like this weird depiction of evil, of the devil. That's not what evil is. Evil isn't those things, but evil does exist. I remember in high school in a advanced English class, because I was like that person, we were talking about suffering and evil, and I remember after English class walking to lunch and walking with a classmate of mine. As we're walking, I say to my friend, whoa, that class was amazing. She was like, really? You believe all that stuff? You believe evil is real? You're naive. Evil doesn't exist. And I just like blinked rapidly and didn't really know what to say. Because for you to say evil doesn't exist, you have lived a privileged, comfortable, sheltered life. Evil exists. Things like the Holocaust, genocide, slavery, rape, sex trafficking. These are obvious examples. Evil exists in our world in big ways that we see on the news all the time. Evil also exists in little ways that we don't always acknowledge, like gossip, slander, lying, bullying, injustice, betrayal, indifference, hatred. Evil exists, and evil is incarnate in Satan, in the devil, in Lucifer. Satan, the devil, Lucifer, was created by God. And when I share that information with people tend to freak out. They're like, what do you mean? God created evil. What does that mean about God? God is a monster. He's a psychopath. He's crazy. Why would he do that? Calm down. Let me explain. The devil originally was created as an angel. Lucifer comes from the Latin word lux, meaning light. So the devil originally was this angel, this high angel who served God, who was this angel of light. And Lucifer, like all angels and all men, was created with free will, with free choice, with autonomy, with the ability to decide how you're gonna live and move and act. And Lucifer used his freedom to utterly reject God. To reject his will, and all that God is. Lucifer saw who God was and says, I'm gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna do the opposite. So everything that God is, Lucifer is the opposite. and he consequently had to leave heaven, because if he rejected all that God is, he didn't want to be so close with him in heaven. So Satan left heaven and went down to earth. And God allowed this rejection. God allowed Lucifer to use his free will, to use his autonomy, to use his freedom to reject God. And God allows this. You know why? Because God respects our freedom. God cares about my freedom. God cares about your freedom. God even cares about the freedom of the devil, because God knows when we are not free, we cannot fully love. So God allows our freedom. He rolls the dice. He takes the risk. He takes the chance. He knows that we could use our freedom to glorify him, to love and serve other people, to become a person fully alive. God knows that we can use our freedom in that way, and that's what God hopes for. But God also knows that we could use that freedom and abuse it, to abuse other people, to abuse ourselves, to reject God and all that he stands for, to reject love and light itself. God takes the risk. And since we are free, we have the ability to decide how we're going to live. Are we going to be part of love, or are we going to reject love? And Satan rejected love, because something that comes with freedom is consequences. Something that comes with actions are effects. So one of the effects of abused freedom is sin and darkness. And God saved us from the evil and darkness by sending his son Jesus to die on the cross. But the effects of sin and the effects of a rejection of God still remain on this earth. Lucifer used his freedom to reject God. He left heaven and came to earth and is now prowling around earth trying to get us to reject God the way that he did. Yet, evil cannot enter your heart without your consent. The clip of the show that my friend made me watch this morning from The Haunting of Bly Manor, the show speaks to this. A creepy young boy notices that evil can't enter the hearts of the humans without their consent, and that is true. Hollywood is obsessed with demons. Hollywood doesn't always get it right. Hollywood likes to depict these scary possession, haunting movies about how a demon possesses someone. Typically someone who's like really nice and innocent, like a nun or a young child. They'll be like brushing their teeth and the demon will like pop out of the mirror and like take possession of them and suck out their soul, and they're powerless to resist. That's not true. That's not the case. Just as God respects our freedom, so does the devil. The devil can't possess you, can't come into your heart, can't be part of your life unless you give permission. And the devil won't hand you a permission slip like you're on a field trip to ask for your signature to enter in your heart. He's not going to be that obvious. He's going to be subtle. He's going to be sneaky. He'll tempt you with envy, or jealousy, or gossip, or lust, apathy, rage, or laziness, or unforgiveness, or pride, or selfishness. The devil will tempt you in subtle ways that don't seem that bad, that don't seem like a big deal, that seem actually great and something that would be beneficial for you or make you feel good in the moment. And by saying yes to those things, by doing them over and over and over again, and if you make no effort to reject them or to resist them, we are saying yes to the devil living rent-free in our hearts and infecting us with his darkness. And there's enough darkness in this world. I want to be in the light. I want to use my freedom to glorify God, to love and to serve other people, to live a full, abundant life, not a life of bondage and slavery and addiction and pain. I want to live a life of love, a life of light. The only power that the devil has is the power that we give him. If I reject evil, evil will move on. If I strive for holiness, if I live in love, if I immerse myself in the church, if I receive the sacraments, if I read scripture, if I love the poor and act with justice and mercy, if I live a life of virtue, cultivating good habits, if I live a life of forgiveness, forgiving those who have hurt me and praying for those who persecute me, if I join the ranks of the army of God, I don't have to worry about evil. Evil has to worry about me. Hey friends, thanks for watching this video. It would really help me out if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking the red button that says subscribe below.